Resilience. What is it? According to Katie Hurley, resilience is typically defined as the capacity to bounce back from difficult life events. Harold Cohen also states, when faced with tragedy, natural disaster, health concerns, relationship, work, or school event, resilience is how well a person can adapt to the event in their lives. A person with strong resilience has the capacity to bounce back more quickly and less stressful than the person whose resilience is less developed. Hello, my beautiful people. This is Anna Sheriff again. The reason why I started with that definition is because of who Africans are. Our mentality is so strong. We are so quick to bounce back from trauma, life event that has happened in our lives, tragedy, including war, which is what I'm going to talk about. You know, the current event taking place in McKinney, where the youth were in the street preventing government officials from going into the residence of the former president. But one of the videos that actually jogged my memory is the one someone state that Sierra Leone is going to go back to civil war. No, we are not going back to civil war, because that just brought, you know, just those horrible moments that we went through when the rebels took over Freetown and we were isolated in the eastern part of Freetown. Most of those youth out there were children. They were very young, probably. Some of them were not even born yet. So my beautiful people, I'm going to bounce back between Creole and English, because Creole is one of languages that we speak in Sierra Leone, and that is what most people understand. So I'm going to keep bouncing back between them. So me fumble them. Today I can continue with the video what I make yesterday about the event where they take place in McKinney. But one of the videos that will bother me, and I don't want somebody so they go back to civil war. No, we're not going to go back to civil war, because that person just jogged with memory for what we recollect what we went through. The event will lead to January 6, 1999. So me, they can share my story. I'm going to share my story because most often when we had a war, or when an African country is going through war, it is the outside agencies who tell us stories, most often without even our permissions. Those who were not there, those who were not present, are the ones who tell our story in their own lens, instead of giving us the opportunity to share our story in our own lens, what we experienced, what we witnessed, what we saw. They will want to come share our story, tell our story. However, I'm here today to encourage everyone who was present in the eastern part of Freetown to share their story. Social media is free. We have to tell accurate description of what we saw so that the whole world knows. Because when I was doing my conflict resolution class, all we were focused on was Rwanda. I tried my best to bring Sierra Leone to light. I tried my best to tell my story so that people can understand it wasn't only Rwanda that was going through those tragedies. We all know Rwanda had a tribal war. We had a civil war. And the way I saw the anger that I saw in the youth in McKinney, if we are not careful, like I said in my previous video, it is going to lead to tribal war. And I asked that question. If this leads to tribal war, who are you going to protect? Because Sierra Leone is a unique country where each and every one of us marry each other. Mendeti, Mini, Loko, Limba, Creole, Yalonka, every tribe so in that country marry each other. Muslim marry Christians. If we are going to do this across party line or across tribal line, it is going to be horrible than what we experienced before, because tribal war is horrific. Let us just remember Rwanda, for example, where the Hutus and the Tutsis killed each other. Friends, families kill each other because of hate. If we allow hate to build up in us because of politicians, we are going to destroy our own country. If we don't let hate take over everybody, because of politicians, they wouldn't kind of power, they don't even care for we. Would they pull we own country back? Now we own people them back will get for kill and not go fine. So now make they can remind some of una, then youth they within a street, where some of una not be even born yet safe. One they can't talk, so they're going to civil war. We'll not go allow una for do that. Because we don't experience the war. We need for tell una what war means. So those of us who were in the eastern part, I was one of them. When the rebels took us by surprise, I believe, if my memory serves me right, I'm going to try to give an accurate description of what I saw. If my memory serves me right, I believe it was between December 1998, when they finally took hold of the eastern part of Freetown, the rebels. When they took us by surprise that day, we all started running. We started running. And I went and lay in the gutter, because most of us were lying in the gutter. You know, it was filthy, but to save our lives, we lay there. I used to have a dog by the name of Envy. My sister brought that dog home, and I cared for the dog, but she named him Envy because she said we're all jealous of her, me and my friend and our friends, everyone that was in the house. So she named him Envy because we're jealous of her, or we're envious of her. But the dog became my dog. But when we were lying in that gutter that day, Envy did something that no human can do for any other person. He went and lay on top of me. Even when I was pushing him to get up, he couldn't. He wouldn't get up. I tried. But he lay there. Bullets were flying all over our heads. Had those bullets come my way, they would have hit Envy. Now I know why people say dog is a man's best friend. Envy showed it to me that day. I'm going to try to share my story without crying. It's going to be difficult because of the trauma, because of the horror that we saw. Another thing those rebels did, when they first took hold of the eastern part, was to tell us, surprisingly, to beat drums, burn tires, sing, and dance for them. To show our gratitude, we should be grateful, they say, that they are there to save us. Now, all this time, whilst we're beating these drums, we have a gun to our head. They're standing on top of us, and we should pretend as if we're happy. We're beating the drums, burning tires, smiling at the same time. In our heart, we're dying slowly. In our minds, we're just praying that one of them will not go cuckoo and then shoot at us. We used to take turns. Our parent used to do the early shift, which was maybe between 7 p.m. to midnight. And they'll wake us, the younger ones. We'll continue from midnight till daybreak, singing and dancing, beating drums, burning tires. All this time with a gun to our head. That is one event. Another event I remember was when they almost kidnapped me. I was in the kitchen cooking one day, and the whole place became quiet. I was wondering why. And when I lift my head up, 2 of the rebels were standing right in my face with AK-47 in their hands, with one little girl that they just kidnapped from the father. And they told us they paid her bridal price for 1,000 leones. Then go kidnap one titi. Then say them pay 1,000 leones for in bridal price. I then a kitchen I they cook. What is made up? I just see them kidnap on top of me. You know, I couldn't move. I stood there frozen. It's like the time just stood still for me. And they walked past me, ironically, went into the home, into my house, and called out everybody. Everybody come out. Those of you who saw us and run, we're going to kill each and every one of us except our friend, meaning me, who saw us and did not run. In my head, I was saying to myself, I didn't see you. Had I seen you, I would have run too. And meanwhile, when they are saying this, that they are going to kill everybody, mind you, they were my family. My husband, my son was in the house. My mother, father-in-law, mother-in-laws, everybody, my own family was there. And I'm standing there listening to them, talking about we're going to kill each and every one of you because you saw us and run. You are afraid of us. Why are you afraid of us? We had to save you guys. This is what they told us. And then they went into the house. They saw one of my sister-in-law. It was only maybe 3 of us that were younger in the house. And I was the oldest among them. My sister-in-laws were very young. They were children. I was in my teens, maybe 19, 20 at that time. And when they saw her, one of them saw her, immediately said, oh, this is who I want. I'm going to marry her. In horror, she burst out crying. She held my son, and I could hear her say, you can't take me. Oh, this is my son. My son is so young. When she said that, my heart dropped, my beautiful people, because she was carrying my son. And I'm saying to myself, now that she claimed my son, what am I going to do if they come to me? And she burst out crying, and immediately she became smarter that day. She told them, oh, they just killed my husband. Because we had a military friend who was killed the week before. We used to call him American Soldier. Everybody who is in locals knows who I'm talking about. I don't like really calling names when I'm doing my program because he's dead now. They killed him the previous week before the rebels actually came because they were the ones fighting. Soon as my sister-in-law said, oh, they killed my husband last week. And one of the same guy asked her, who is he? So she said, American Soldier. Immediately he remembered him. That was what saved her. He goes, oh yes, we just had they killed him. And then I heard them saying, where is our friend? She's the one we're going to take, because my other sister-in-law was a child. And my husband's stepmom was the smartest woman, man. While I was standing in the kitchen, she just brought a bowl and shoved it in my hands and told me to go to the basement. There was a man building a house close to ours who had a basement, but we used to call it undercellar. So she says, go to the undercellar. Go hide right now. And they tell me, Sela, go hide. Because she immediately realized that they were coming for me. And then I was so upset because they ran and didn't tell me. Everybody did not say a word to me. Instead of even whispering, they are coming. And then she said, I don't want you to argue with me. Just go. The moment I stepped my foot at the door of the basement, I heard them say, where's our friend? That's who we're going to take. And immediately she told them, that is not our daughter. She doesn't belong to our family. Don't you see? We all ran and left her. She just came to beg for food. I could hear her. I am grateful for her today. She saved my life. She saved my life. They could have took me. They could have raped me. They could have murdered me that day. I don't know what they would have done to me. But my brother and sister, then I'm your story now they share so. I want to know and all remember, say, in the eastern part of Freetown, we suffer. We see horror. We see rape. We see people that they kill people in our face. Una where they talk now, McKinney, so they can't go back to civil war. No, we know they go back to civil war. Because I don't make now, they can't share with story that will be done build inside we self, we not able for talk now though. Now they begin share along and remember, because some of them are very young, some of them are not even born yet self, where the war be they gone. So my beautiful people, I'm gonna continue to share my story in part, in sequence, from the event that led to January 6, 1999. I'm going to stop here today. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks to those who have already subscribed to my YouTube channel. For those who have not subscribed yet, please don't forget to subscribe. It is free. You don't have to pay anything. So thank you everybody for watching. Please protect yourself. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Stay blessed.